Okay, we're on.
Okay, good morning, it's March 2nd. Calling the Selectmen's meeting to order. The first order of business is to salute the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is public input.
I have none, thank you.
Okay. The next order of business is review and approval of minutes. I guess we'll start with February 24th, the public hearing, public minutes.
I don't have any changes.
I'm also.
Move approval as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next is the public minutes of February 28th, which is a Friday work session.
I'm also.
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And the sealed minutes from February 28th.
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. And I move that we unseal them.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Our only appointment today is Mr. Parsons. Where is he?
He's got the copy, he'll be right back.
All right.
We're running ahead of schedule, so.
Can I just want,
Yeah, he's not on for another 7 minutes.
I just happened to read the front page of the paper, and this will be for Alyssa, in reference to making issue about the town meeting on March 11th being held up on the hill in the townhouse, and it should say at the school.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Well, while we're here, there's a planning board meeting scheduled for the 5th at 7:30 in the evening at the townhouse to a workshop about short-term rentals and Airbnb, etc. Put on by the planning board and with attorney Justin Passay. Anybody going?
Yes.
Bill's going.
I'm out of town. You're going.
Bill's going.
Yeah, I put that in your folder because you said Friday you'd go.
Did I?
Yes.
you
drafted.
did. Yes,
What
you
a
did.
fool I am. All right, so I'm going. Jack's
I'm
going.
going.
Okay, you're on. What's
Okay.
happening?
We have 14 building permits, 3 new houses. I've done 67 inspections. The pellet hopper at the townhouse, the new one up there, is working great. Nothing hangs up, it works perfect, so.
Great job.
And then I talked to Bill this morning. I was gonna talk to Scott, the electrician, so he's gonna put that one more line up outside.
Right.
So that'll be all taken care of. The timer, I guess, works great. It's very easy, simple to use.
Yeah.
Are there lots being sold on Farm Island now?
No. Subdivision.
It's in court.
It's in court, so no. The original owners still own it in Winchester, so it's still one lot.
Huh. Even the Belknap is.
Well, that's
still-
one lot. There's 2 lots on Farm Island.
Okay.
Belknap owns on Winchester owns the other.
I'm only confused because when I was at the store yesterday, I think it was yesterday, it might have been Saturday, at the Tufton General Store, there was somebody getting a burn permit to burn brush on Farm Island at their house.
Could be Winchester.
Yeah, there's an
It
old
wasn't-
there's an
There's
old
the house there. There is a house
on
It
there.
wasn't Winchester though, it was somebody from New York.
Farm Island.
I'm sure it was Farm Island.
He said Farm Island. So so the question came up, I didn't know that if they were selling lots.
I don't know, I mean, there's 3 brothers, I'm not sure, I know one of them's from Mass, I don't know, maybe the other one's from New York, I don't know, but,
They bought Winchester's.
no, Winchester owns it, that's the family, but there's 3 brothers,
Oh, okay.
And the one brother lives local, right?
I believe so.
And then the other 2 are from away.
Yeah.
But-
so.
So what's going on with Farm Island is the subdivision approval is being appealed to the Superior Court by the abutter. And then to return the favor, the abutter got an approval in arrears for the way they're using it, have been using it for a number of years. And that's being appealed by the other guy. So there are 2 separate
Okay.
court cases going on.
One of the
It's
court cases, the
tit-
plaintiff is.
tit for tat.
So the sale of the half that was gonna be subdivided.
Right.
Is contingent upon
The subdivision, I
planning board
believe.
approval?
Correct.
Okay, good, good.
I mean, they can still buy it as a whole, but he is buying contingent on the subdivision, so.
Right.
Right. Okay. Anything else that we should know
That's all
about?
I
Any
have.
health and safety issues? You're a health officer, right? What are you gonna do about the coronavirus?
I'm going to a meeting on the 24th about it, so.
Good.
The fire chief.
Hopefully we have a plan at some point in time. Even if we never have to do anything, it's nice to have a plan.
Well, they have a pod that's got moved from Tuftonboro to
Okay.
Wolfboro.
And-
to the Meadowflowers.
And we do have a response plan for
We do.
pandemics,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh,
So,
yeah. That's what we're going over is on the
Just gonna
24th is that,
update
so.
that.
Yeah.
On that note, in the correspondence on the top is
I'm not a real fan of this, but I'll read it anyway because I know that there are some fans of Chris Snowden in the audience. It's not as informative as it could be because I believe the bill that he's interested in sponsoring or getting passed is to eliminate personal net metering and replace it with municipal net metering, which would only give net metering of electricity to municipalities, not to homeowners.
what does that have to do with this discussion?
Right.
Well, he's a building permit officer.
It has nothing to do with me, it has to do with the co-op, so.
Well,
People
that's-
want to put solar up, they can, I don't do anything beyond that.
You don't do any of the inspections?
I do the inspections, but nothing to do with net metering, that's all we do with either Eversource or the
Yep.
co-op.
Yeah, that's an agreement between the
Yeah.
utility and the
Right.
individual.
And I inspect solar for emergency shut off and the way it's installed, the equipment that's used.
So you're not
the
involved in
anchoring.
permitting it at all?
I permit for solar, correct, but nothing to do with how they get returns from the co-op
Right.
or the Eversource.
All right, so not the size, doesn't go into your purview.
They can do whatever they want, pretty much. There is a few in town that get net metering, but it just seems to defeat the purpose.
Yeah.
What's that?
That just seems to defeat the purpose why people are doing it, so.
Right, it takes away the benefit to the
Right,
individual.
and now you'd have to have battery banks and storage and all that if that goes away, because people aren't gonna do it just to have solar in the daytime. So, you don't get any credit
Well,
on
and
that,
that-
obviously.
Right, but the, one of the effects of net metering that's troublesome is that it increases the cost for it increases the cost of power for other people. Because the utility is buying power at the retail rate rather than at the rate that they would normally buy it at.
No, they don't pay you what you would get it for, it's discounted.
Yeah, and it's only the electricity, I mean, that's
Right.
less than half of your bill. I mean, most of your bill is made up of all those.
Yeah, the
fees.
surcharge and the fees and the meter charge and all that, they still have that, yeah.
Yeah,
the agreement that the school district signed for the Effingham solar project is they get a discount at the retail price, but anything that extra is produced, they get a discount at 3/4 of retail. So that the company they're dealing with still makes out.
Yeah, think about that, that was, district isn't owning equipment.
that's right.
That's,
Yes.
to me, that's not a good thing. in my opinion.
Well, but it addresses one of the challenges for a non-taxpayer, okay? And that is that one of the sweeteners for people to do solar is they get a tax credit. If you don't pay tax, you don't get a tax credit.
Right.
So that's why for municipalities and school districts and that sort of thing, the payback becomes much longer.
Right.
But if you go into a purchase power agreement with a private entity, then they get all the,
Yeah, it depends how long the contract is. That's
Yeah.
the thing, so.
Right. I mean, I think if you want to address the net metering issue, if you will, a better proposal might be to take the excess electricity that you produce at your solar plant at your house and throw it into a bank for people who have a hard time paying for electricity.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
push that
Yes.
benefit south. But, I mean, I just have to remind everybody that we have the only electric cooperative in America, and there are hundreds of them, who's never declared a
Dividend.
dividend to their shareholders, to us. So it's a strange company.
Yes.
Anyway,
Before
Right.
you leaves, can I bring up another subject?
sure. Does it have to do with Jack?
Yes, it's his health care. Under correspondence,
Mhm.
the first item is a letter on disease control.
Right.
And if you go to the second page, see where I put a mark there?
Yeah.
Let me explain where I'm coming from. There are several areas of our town buildings that need to be cleaned. First is the police office. The next is,
I've looked into these companies.
yep,
I can't find one that does it just for this,
okay.
because it's
Well,
huge.
this is my comment. We've had 2 people who've been hospitalized, we've had 2 employees that have missed work, and we've had several who are outpatients. And I maintain that after I saw 3 people sneeze at the candidates' night in the kitchen and the bathroom and not cover, that's where a lot of old people are gonna be 3 more times this year, and at least needs to be cleaned. Somehow it needs to be cleaned.
So what's your suggestion?
The
That we
police
hire a
officer-
cleaning company?
That's right. But the police office needs to be cleaned, and also Clay's office needs to be cleaned.
and when we talked about having the department heads take care of that, right?
Is that what we're gonna do?
Well, we have,
That's my-
I don't know that we can direct Jack to create some new department. and-
Right.
He's already made inquiries, so.
Okay,
Yeah, the biggest one is the H on that sign, so if you say home.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we do provide sick leave. I mean, I heard on the radio
Correct.
this morning that 35% of the workers in America don't have sick leave. Well, that's gonna be a problem because 80% of those people work for McDonald's or Burger King or some other place where they're handling your food. But at any rate, I'm not sure we wanna direct Jack to create this cleaning regimen, or do we wanna get the department heads involved?
I mean, we get this place cleaned by Dolly, obviously, but she's been
Right.
sick, so she came in for a little bit last week, she went home.
And that's
So-
that's a maintenance clean, that's not a.
Correct,
that's
it's
not
on a full clean, we've had a full clean done in here before.
Yeah.
The other thing is, that's one question, is it appropriate for the selectmen or working with Jack to come up with a letter to our employees that parallels what those
Well, he's
recommendations are?
gonna, Jack's already said that he's going to a meeting this week, is it?
That's 24th.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the Carroll County Coalition for Public Health, it's the
All right.
whole
You know,
county.
there hopefully will be handouts. Maybe we'll get, if you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
put something
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
for
Adam
that.
goes there and all that, so.
Right. Yeah, touch base with Adam, see if there's
Yeah.
something we need to pass out. Once again, we'll pay for your flu shot, you don't have a flu shot, but it's not the flu, it's,
Right, so
Something
it's
that's different.
Right.
um,
Well, I've brought it up.
okay, let's get the cleaning thing off the table. Do we want to have Jack get us a price or a contact on?
I mean, we've had the place cleaned before, I can call them up, but it's just an overall cleaning, it's nothing specific.
Right,
It's
well,
not
I
it's
don't
not a
think we're
medical
gonna-
cleaning.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think we can sterilize the place, but.
Correct.
I mean, Lloyd's concern is specifically the police department and the townhouse.
And the transfer station main office.
In the transfer station office.
Can't Clay take care of getting somebody to clean his office?
He hasn't so far. Go take a look at it, gentlemen.
Well, I was there on Sunday. I mean,
Well, they,
it's a transfer station.
right.
But people
They should be able
are,
to clean it, so.
I'm offended when people are sneezing over the water fountain, they're cooking
Right.
food, and people are in there sneezing and whatnot, including the employees. Wait a minute, we need to do something here. It's a safety issue.
Right, just think you should stay home. That's
Right.
what should happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Jack. Anything else
Okay.
from you?
No,
Anything we can do for you?
no, I'm good.
Clean
I
your
won't be
houses.
here next week, I'm on vacation, so.
Really? You have
Send us a
vacation?
postcard.
He schedules it every year so he misses town
You
meeting.
went on vacation just a month ago. Weren't you in Florida or something?
Been anywhere since last March.
No. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Been a camping
Travel
trip
safe.
a couple of days.
That's right. Hey,
Yeah,
Diane, bring.
That's what it was, the camping trip. But
Yeah,
you
for
know,
2 days, yeah.
But you're fine.
And in October, I'm gone for 2 weeks, so.
Good God. You don't see me going on vacation, do you?
What are you doing now? Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right,
for your
you.
efforts.
The signature file. Should we slow this down? Because we're really ahead of the game here this morning.
Good leadership,
No,
sir.
keep going, keep going.
Really? Okay.
Hey, my,
Okay, the first item on this, in the signature file is an agreement between Lakes Region Planning Commission and Town of Tuftonboro on natural hazards mitigation plan update. And this is us employing Lakes Region Planning Commission to mitigate our hazards.
That's that one, Adam brought to you, I think it was last Monday.
It's done, what, every 4 years?
Yeah, and they're not allowed to do it in-house, so they have to hire out for it. So it's 10 grand, and I think
Okay.
7,500 comes from grant funding.
Yes.
And he has 4 in the budget, so the 2,500 is well covered.
That's right.
right.
I move you sign it.
Second.
All right. This only requires one signature,
Yes.
so this is the 2nd of March.
Yes, it is.
Doesn't seem possible.
Lloyd's doing this. And another copy of this, probably we need to sign 2 copies so that we actually end up getting a copy. Or is this- no, this is, Okay. We've got a renewal of our contract with Cartographic Associates for the updating of our tax map.
And there's no increase in price.
And, right, the cost is $3,000 and then $15 for any added buildings, the footprints. I think, okay, and Karen, you're all set with all of the questions that came up on the first go-around with these guys?
Yes, thanks. Yes, thanks, I am. So typically, just to add this part, typically tax map updates, historically have been done about this time, for
Right.
April. Obviously, this one's, now that we're doing GIS and everything, I've been sending them updates periodically when I do deeds.
And they're doing them for your.
So we're keeping up type thing. So even though this is for 2021 maps, they'll be working on them,
Mhm.
Right.
so.
So they're constantly being updated, basically.
Yeah, I mean, this particular contract you're looking at is for paper. You have already signed the GIS one that goes through, I think that's a yearly,
Right.
January to December one. So I guess what I'm trying to explain is that this is being signed a little early, but at the same time, they are keeping up with things.
Right, this is due to change at 4/1. I mean, this contract goes from April 1st to March 31st of '21.
Yeah,
Okay.
So I'll move approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your work on it. You've been diligent.
You're welcome.
Okay. The next item for signature is appointing David Ladd of Tuftonboro as a boat permit agent. This term expires December 31st, 2020.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Um, The next item is designating Matt Young as a boat permit agent. His term would expire December 31st, 2020.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Um, The last item is a thank you letter to Ms. Catherine Nesbitt of Mirror Lake. Dear Kate, it is with gratitude that we write on behalf of the town of Tuftonboro to acknowledge your donation of a conservation easement on your land on Eaglemere Road, known as Lot 2, on the subdivision plan recorded at the Carroll County Registry of Deeds in Book 225, page 4. No goods or services were provided in return for this donation. Please retain this letter as part of the substantiation of your gift under federal tax law. For your records, the conservation easement was recorded in Carroll County Registry of Deeds, Book 3474, page 1, November 7th, 2019. Again, please accept our thanks for your tremendous gift and dedication to conservation. This has one signature.
I'll move that the chairman sign it.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And for all of you who haven't been over to the registry in a while, you should go because they've restored all of the old books
Yes.
way back to the end of
Great.
To the fire.
1800s. That looks amazing.
You've seen this, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Selectmen's update. Any nuisance Friday?
One item I have is we need to schedule a shredder truck visit. We have a lot of boxes of records downstairs that need to be shredded. I want to say Jackie told me it's like, I don't know, 25, something like that. And I would propose that we schedule it at a time in the near future when police department, fire department, whoever else in the town needs to have this stuff done, can get their stuff sorted, and then we could bring it in, bring the truck in, get it all shredded, and get it out of here.
And Jackie and whoever's gone over the stuff that's in the basement?
Yes.
There's no state
Yep.
secrets or
Well, there's,
recipes for potions or anything?
the reason that we shred it is there might be some information in there that you
But
don't
it's
want to just float around.
nothing we need to retain.
No, this is all stuff that is beyond the required record retention period. And when she went through them, she did indicate there were several boxes that she put a question mark on because not sure, and we need to go through those a little more thoroughly. The state requires us to retain records for a certain period of time, depending upon what kind of record they are. And some you have to retain forever.
Yes.
But I want to say the last couple of years, we haven't been as diligent as we should at the turn of the year to, okay, the stuff that's now 4 years old that we don't have to keep anymore, let's get rid of it.
Right.
Instead, we buy more boxes and more shelves.
So we should direct Karen to figure out when a shredder can come here and then send a memo out to the fire department and the police department and
All the committees?
yeah,
Yeah.
all the committees and have them purge their records, figure out a day that works. all of that said, it sounds more like June than it does April to me, just because herding all those cats
June?
is gonna take some time.
Jeez. I was thinking more like
March.
end of the month, you know, if we gave,
Well, if we can get
Everybody-
our teams all working,
yeah,
that could happen, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, so you
Okay.
keep us updated on that, Karen?
yeah, so, you know, we put a tentative date out there, and if it's gonna be a huge issue, we can push it back, but I'd hate to think we have to wait till June to get it done. The other thing I'll mention is the planning board meeting on Thursday. You're going,
You keep telling me that, I guess I'm
well,
gonna
you,
have
no,
to go.
you volunteered on Friday to go.
All right.
And, so,
Yeah, I think that's an issue. I mean, it's happening all around us. I'm sure it's happening here. That the Airbnb or whoever else.
It's a new phenomenon.
Short-term rental businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, they're right next to my sister's house up there. They're between the sale from Hipple to whoever owns it now. While Hipple had moved to Portland, that was on the Airbnb. There were people in and out of there all day, every day. So it's
So-
here.
yep, it is.
All right, anything from Lloyd on Selectmen's updates?
I have TAC meeting Tuesday and police station Wednesday, Thursday rather. Could I ask Karen to do the following? And I'll give you some background. A couple of years ago, we had a logger that went down Lang Pond Road and was responsible after the spring mud season to correct the road. I've seen logging trucks and chipper trucks, the big ones, come out of Sandy Knoll Road. And could I ask that we have Karen research who the logger is and have Jim Bean check the road?
Yeah, it's only a very short portion of it that's class 5. I know that lot that the town owned that we sold had been logging,
Yep.
but
That's a class
Class
6.
6.
most of that's class 6.
So it's class 6 still all the way to, I don't think even the paved section is class 5 now.
Really?
Yeah, that was paved by the butters as they
Right.
developed the pit back there. So I don't think, I mean, we can ask road agent, I don't think we do any maintenance on Sandy Knoll.
And I suppose the point is that it can't be any worse than when they started. You're not gonna make it better.
Well, I know when they were getting ready to go in there and log, they wanted to know if they could
Add material.
add material, which you need to get, having been back there, you can't,
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a high ground clearance vehicle and you don't mind getting the sides scraped up, you could drive back there, but, so,
All right.
I do think that it, even though we're not maintaining it, it's still a town road, so that if somebody goes in there and screws it up, they need to
That's where I'm
restore.
coming from.
Yeah,
It's not the town dog.
Okay.
right,
Thank you, that's it.
that's a good idea.
I think that when you came in, I complimented you. Nice job on your town report.
Yeah, sure.
Short and sweet, thank you.
Anything else?
No, I'm all set, thank you.
Okay. As Selectman Markuson mentioned, there's a meeting on the 5th at the townhouse with the planning board. I'll be there. Hopefully there'll be other folks there. I did bring up the coronavirus. I think we're selectmen, we're the managers of the town. We certainly have to make sure there's a plan that works or is functional. And we were assured by Jack that it was.
So to come back to that and these
Yeah.
specific things, and to kind of piggyback on where you started, how about if we send a memo to all of the departments with this information in it? I mean, it's not specific to the coronavirus, but it's just, you know, how do we keep
Right.
our work environment healthy, and include in that a piece about ensuring that workspaces are kept properly clean. Goes to all the department heads, and I don't have any problem personally having a conversation with anybody. Particularly, we put the memo out there, it's like, okay, you know, let's get her done.
Well, and I think it's,
But and it's great, my view is it's great to identify a resource to come in and do some cleaning. But that building is the responsibility of that department head, and that ought to extend to keeping it neat and clean, and in areas where it's just, you know, where you're gonna disinfect it, to disinfect it.
yeah. I'm in full agreement. I think we have to have, it's a longer conversation than that. But
Yeah.
I'm in agreement. But the other part of this, I forget where I was going. Oh, sick leave or sick time. I think we need to reinforce with our employees that, no, I don't care how busy you think you are, don't bring your disease to work.
Correct.
And, I mean, I witnessed it this morning with, I got an 8:30 meeting, but I've got what appears to be the flu. Well, yeah, fine, tell the people at 8:30 that you're not gonna meet with them. I mean, there's no reason to spread any sort of flu or virus or whatever you've got into the larger population just because you think you're indispensable. There's only one person who's indispensable.
It's you.
That's me.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Thank you,
And
gentlemen.
don't forget that.
And don't forget, right.
So don't be thinking about taking a vacation.
So, yeah, next week we're meeting on Tuesday
Yes.
at the polls. And then we've got town meeting on Wednesday. Hopefully everybody gets out and votes. Exercise your franchise.
Early and often.
Yes.
Yeah. In the correspondence, the first section of the correspondence, which is from the New Hampshire Municipal Association, does have lots and lots of good stuff in it. A couple of things that I noticed that we need to recommend is that there's a webinar on Wednesday the 18th called The Art of Welfare. It's at 12 p.m. It's online. And I'd like to recommend that Diane watch that.
Yeah, I did send that to her, but I'll let her know that you want her to do it too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's important. The census has just started to crank up. I guess there's a example of it online now that you can fill out. So people should be aware that there will be census takers out there in the community, and we need everybody to participate in the census so we can get all kinds of.
Important that everybody be counted.
Yeah. The Federal Communications Commission, FCC, voted last week to approve the $20.4 billion subsidy for high-speed broadband internet networks in rural America. This is what we've been working on with the Carroll County Broadband Initiative. So now the money's there, we just have to figure out if we can legally do it. There's a Senate hearing on a Senate bill on, what day is it? Got it here. Hold on. Wednesday, March 11, in municipal affairs, and it directly addresses the ability of communities to form coalitions. So currently, under state law, we can do here in Tuftonboro what we can do under DRA and state law for Tuftonboro. And there's no ability for us to, other than mutual aid agreements, there's no ability for us to team up with other towns to form some sort of collective to do something larger. And the problem that is always beset small towns is you have 2,400 people. It's not a big enough mass to make anything happen.
Correct.
So the law tries to address that, and
It's
this
parallel to the school districts.
kind of, yeah, similar. This has already been passed in Vermont, and they've already formed these broadband coalitions, because it only works when you have tens of thousands of people that you can hook up as opposed to thousands. And what was the other thing? That was it on that. Oh. There's a, New Hampshire Municipal Association is doing a wage survey, which may help us in those questions asked at the budget committee hearings about our current workers and what kind of wages and benefits they get. So.
Is that through the municipal association?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is they're always a year, they're not current, they're always a year behind.
Well, they're running it now, so
Yeah.
you're
I mean,
you're never gonna get future information in that. I mean, it's, you know, as
If we
you,
could, we'd buy a lot more stocks. Right?
you got it.
Yeah, this is just a memo that in EC Fiber, the Eastern Central Vermont Telecommunications District was formed back in March, or it is March, correct, a year ago March. It just gives a basic description of what their program consists of. It's 30 towns, regional solutions. A great place to go is Amon, Idaho. Go online and look up Amon, A-M-M-O-N, Idaho. It's got the best internet service in the world. And it's totally locally owned. They went through this process, and I think it's $9.95 for 100 gig or a gigawatt or whatever. And they bonded it. It seems to be the way to do it. And they had no problem finding an installer and a servicer.
And what was the size of the community, do you remember offhand?
16,000, I think it was. 16 or 18,000. And it's not near metropolitan area, I mean, it's Amon, Idaho. And we still have,
Do you have a question?
Well, I was just gonna ask about the NHMA newsletter that mentioned the local officials workshops. I didn't know if any of you wanted to go to any of those, and you could sign me up.
That's,
I don't even know if I'll be a local official after next week.
Yeah, I think it's on that second page.
yeah.
I knew that.
And,
Oh.
yeah, I've attended in the past,
Right.
you know.
I have.
Yeah, and it's, I would recommend it to our newly elected or re-elected selectmen.
Thank you. May 28th in Sugar Hill, a nice community, I might add.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
no, that's,
9 to 4. All right, I'll put that in my tickler file.
you have a tickler file?
I do, I have a tickler file.
That's why he's smiling.
That's why I'm always smiling.
Boy, we're in rare humor.
We've got copious, it appears, letters or emails, if you will, about the cell tower warrant article. Which one of you gentlemen wants to handle that?
I think it's handled at this point.
Really? Okay, because I
Until
think at
town
some
meeting,
point, okay, maybe I should step back. Who wants to, at town meeting, we're gonna present these warrant
I'll be
articles.
happy to address it, yeah.
Because I don't think I'm qualified to do that. I just don't think I have enough knowledge about how this, why it needs to
Yeah,
be there.
okay, yep. No, I'll be happy to
Okay.
speak to it at the town meeting.
All right, because I think some of the questions are pretty easily answered, but better answered in large crowd rather
Right.
than individual emails.
Yes, that's the focal point, yes.
Yeah.
You'll do a nice job.
And
3 minutes or less?
I don't care, how long it take. So we're still working on the landfill closure lab testing issues. We had a question from Aries. Who do we have is Larry Gill, or are Larry Gill and Steve Wingate looking at those proposals?
Yes, and so Steve's already reviewed them and made his observations.
Okay,
Larry was on vacation. I assume he'll come in the next day or two. And then they're going to meet together on Wednesday. That was the plan. Clay has been in and out, pardon?
With Clay?
Well, that was the goal, but Clay's been in and out of being sick.
right,
And then he's having oral surgery or something
Yes.
Wednesday.
right. Yeah, let's,
So point being, I don't know if they have to reschedule their get together, but Clay was gonna come in and review them in the next day or two as well.
all right, well, let's not make it so that Clay has to come to a meeting, because I know I stopped and saw him yesterday, I know he has some stuff scheduled,
Okay.
medical issues. But if he and Larry Gill and Steve can come to some sort of consensus about what we could do by next Monday, then next Monday we can talk.
Right, because you
Yeah,
wanted to
Tuesday.
discuss it Tuesday, yeah.
On town meeting day,
Yeah.
or town
For
election
Tuesday,
day,
yeah.
we can,
Yeah.
yeah,
Tuesday, I'm sorry.
we
yeah.
can spend the time,
Okay, good.
Sounds good.
get there.
Yeah, but I don't think we need to add anything to Clay's plate at
Okay.
this point in time.
Just have him give his input to them and,
Yep.
okay, sounds good.
Okay. And with regards to the police department presentation, it's gonna be just us and whatever material we can put together, because Alba Engineering or architects aren't gonna be there in
No.
person.
They'll be there at
Really?
town meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought I read here they weren't.
That was this
there.
week
They
at
can't be there
at the meeting
Thursday.
with,
Yeah.
on the grant stuff.
Yeah.
On the, there was a correspondence about the police station that someone supported radiant heat in the floors.
Right, right. And I think that's-
You're a builder, and I've checked, and I have a couple of comments, but what's your opinion?
I don't know if I qualify as a, I build things, yeah, I don't
Yes.
think I qualify as a builder. No, I put radiant in my garage, I
Yep.
haven't turned it on yet, but I've got it in the shop. All of those items, like radiant heat, super insulation, the envelope, solar, I see all that stuff happening during those public meetings that we,
Those are details and ideas to incorporate in the
Right.
design
I
discussion as we go
figured,
forward.
I figured that, but I
we
want to
need
be
to
on the
get
same.
some costs
Yes.
involved. It doesn't really work, I don't know, maybe it does. I'd have to be convinced that it works with geothermal. So there's another
Yes.
question, what direction we go. But I think there are more meetings to be had on getting this design done, right?
One of the things I've followed up on with the people who installed the heat at the library and the people who continue to repair the central fire station is the less complicated in my mind, the hot air system is, the better. I'd like what Brother Marcuson has made the comment, we need to learn from the fire station experience that it not be, and this is my editorial comment, over-engineered. And the more I look into it, the more I realize we need to learn from
Well,
that experience.
There's benefits to progress, but they only happen if you do them in a systematic way. And there was no commissioning of that building, and that, I see that as the biggest issue there. The county courthouse never got commissioned. They still haven't got their heating, air conditioning system at work, right? And that's been there for
20 years.
20 years,
Yes.
right? When you add computerization and balancing and air handlers and all that other stuff, it's got to all work together right, or it's never gonna, I mean, just one little item on everything.
Right.
What, I'm done, I'm about to adjourn, what?
There were a couple things in there about, I know, sorry, and one Bill asked me specifically to bring up, so.
Okay,
That was about social media, Facebook site, excuse me, went back up, social media policy.
Yeah, so,
Andy had
Where
put
is
some
this?
information in there.
it's,
He just closed it about halfway through, he didn't want to.
I didn't close it halfway through, I closed it when I was done.
that's right. So, again, there's some email back and forth.
I think that's.
Yes.
Yeah, and then one
Be-
before that.
A contractor, a supplier contacted the police chief.
Um,
This outfit provides archiving for social media, and so he's looking to sell that service to anybody that will buy it. And
So all of your emails get,
but we know from dealing with emails and old emails in the past that as it relates to actual records that you need to hang on to and that sort of thing, email correspondence, and I believe social media is transitory stuff. It's not something that you have to hang on to and when somebody comes back years later and say, I want to see all of the
10,000.
social media posts,
Well,
those are things-
I mean, I think at some point, somebody, and maybe it ends up being us, who knows, we've got enough crazy people in town. But an email does not constitute a meeting.
right.
Social media post doesn't constitute a meeting. It doesn't create a decision train. So what difference does that make? I mean, I can see how having records of this forum be available to the public are fine. Our non-public, as we unseal them like we did today, that's the part of the deal. Contracts that we have. But I just don't understand how an email can end up being part of that decision-making process, and that's what's at question. I mean, I don't email, you know, once in a while I'll email somebody, but it's generally go see this website and see what you think. But is it your understanding that there's discussion back and forth to come to a conclusion on an email?
Prior
By
to,
law, there can't be.
Right.
No.
Okay,
Right.
so,
I
and.
mean, we've
and-
never done it, because,
No.
well,
and-
maybe you
and-
two
and-
have, but I
No, and, you know, that's one of the things that I always caution boards and commissions is that you don't want to start doing business by email.
Right.
If you want to communicate to the members of the group something one way, that's fine. If somebody wants to respond back to the sender, that's fine, but we don't want to, all of the public business needs to be done in open public session. And that requires that you not be doing it electronically.
I can add to your question. Prior to you two people being elected, there were part of the Hateful Eight that were elected to the Budget Committee, sent serial emails and decided strategy and circumvented the system. And that was a violation of law, and they got caught.
Well, I can see, I mean, it's sort of like a planning board. If you spend a lot of time back and forth deciding what your position's gonna be before the guy comes in to see you.
Right.
that's-
Exactly.
That's suspect.
Yep.
So I guess, but all we can do, I think, as select people, especially with these boards that we appoint, is to set some guidelines and rules and say you gotta live by them.
As a result of that,
Continue to reinforce it, yeah.
there was some training. For example, I have two emails. Lloyd P. Wood is my private one. Lloyd.Wood is here. I come in 3 times a week and copy what I have to copy. And if I get correspondence about something, I make a copy and bring it up as correspondence to the board, just like I receive a letter. The important thing is that everything else gets deleted. If these people on the different boards, and we had a selectman who commingled town function and his personal emails,
Yeah, well, I was gonna say.
and
I
that
mean,
was
how do you
careless.
how do you get John Smith, who's on the planning board, to archive his emails? I mean, he's not gonna archive personal emails. And how are you gonna separate them? I suppose
Right.
there might be a method, but now
But
you've
all-
got
all I
them
was-
editing what they want archived. And
Right. All I would suggest is before we start going down the road toward hiring some company to do this kind of thing, we need to get back with the municipal association and get, because I know we've gone through this before,
Yes.
some clarity from them about the advisability and/or necessity of hanging on to this stuff. As I remember from we've gone through before, is that you don't have to hang on to this stuff.
Yeah.
You clear it out, you get rid of
But
it.
it's like dieting, you have to be diligent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ends up being a conversation, how do you archive that? I met up with another member of the planning board at the store, we talked about something, how do you archive that? How do you do anything?
Well, that's legal as long as there's not a quorum.
What's the difference between that and an email? I just don't, maybe it's just me, maybe it's
Yes.
just
Yeah.
that I'm a.
Well, the difference with email is if you, if somebody sends an email to everybody in the,
Yeah.
on the committee, okay? And then one of those members responds back to everybody with,
Now it's a meeting.
see, now we're having a.
It encroaches, yes.
An electronic meeting, because it involves everybody
Right.
on that board in an ongoing,
Well, everybody you want to include, right?
right, in an ongoing process that's outside of the public meeting.
And your comment is accurate. The municipal association was right on top of that and incorporated what the current law is and what the current case law is.
Yeah.
So I like your idea, Mr. Chairman.
All right, and Clay informed us that he does not review per diem employees. And I had a long discussion with him about that on Sunday, yesterday. And now I understand why. He doesn't feel that he has full-time employees, part-time employees, and per diem employees. If you want to change your status, I mean, let's say he's going to add another part-time employee, that per diem employee has to apply just like anybody else would to apply for that job. And having reviewed the employee is not going to change it doesn't change the dynamic of hiring the new part-time employee, plus you don't have the reviews of the other person that's applying. So you've sort of evened the playing field a bit in that case. And, I mean, I kind of bought into what he was saying as far as his per diems. They're not a big element, and if he has issues, we can handle them directly. He also doesn't, you're not getting into a contractual agreement with them, they're per diem employees. If you don't want them tomorrow, you don't have them tomorrow. If you don't ever want them back, you don't ever have them back. You haven't created a scenario where they feel as though they're more than per diem. You know, you've created job performance reviews, et cetera, that make the employee feel like they've got some sort of contractual arrangement with you. So I was okay with it. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I think we have to have a longer conversation with Clay about policy, because a lot of stuff has been bouncing around, and he's had some personal and health issues that have kept him out of the conversation. But we brought up any number of things. Sticker police, and, paper recycling, and the swap shop, and all of this other stuff has sort of been bouncing around during the election period here. And we haven't really included him in our discussions. And I think once the election happens and the dust settles, we need to have a conversation.
Sure.
Because he needs to feel included. And there's certain positions he's gonna take, which we're gonna have to convince him to change his mind. And, you know, I know his name came up earlier today, cleaning the office, et cetera. Um, Having been an employer, there's ways you do that, and the sending directives from on high is not generally the most effective way to get that done.
Correct.
Giving some guidance, leadership is a lot better way. It's kind of like the swap shop, we're gonna move it into the recycling building and have the employees run it because the employees don't work hard enough, and that's basically what they were saying. I'd love to see them try. I would love to see that effort tried, because it's just gonna fail, because that's not how you do it. Maybe everybody in the world who's running this work for jerks who are bosses, but really to get some kind of functioning operation going, you really have to throw in leadership. It's not about being an oligarch and, driving people to, I guess it's different philosophies. But at any rate, we need to bring Clay into the conversation after the election, and after he's got a couple of things coming up that aren't gonna preclude him from coming in, so.
Right.
But if you're up there, I think we need to just reinforce our gratitude for what he does, but also any issues that he has, just work with it. And maybe he took it wrong. I know we're in a public meeting, so we can say whatever we want, but I'm not sure when you talked about the stickers with him, that he fully understood that the board is not interested in having the employees be sticker police. And I don't know if that was just a miscommunications on your part, but that came up with me. As I said at the last time we met here, when he brings a problem to us, then we have to solve that problem. He hasn't brought that problem to us, and I don't want to create a problem where there isn't one. I understand where you're going with it, but I just think you maybe took it the wrong way. That's what I'm hoping. All right, any other business for today?
Public input?
Please, you said you weren't public.
Let me start at the top of the list.
Hold on, I got one more thing.
Okay.
Goddamn public. We're on cable, right? So I can say whatever I want. We have a meeting, we're still gonna have a general staff meeting on the 23rd.
I don't. Why? I remember at some point we talked about getting
Yeah, we
employees
do. I'm
together,
trying to
so.
think about it. It's the
If
23rd.
we have a specific need to interrupt everybody's day and pull them all into a room
There
together,
was
that's,
something that we needed to interrupt them about. I
Well,
don't remember what it was.
Healthcare.
Well, that's,
but
that's
what
gonna
we're gonna communicate then, if we're looking at
Right.
changes in the way we structure the healthcare benefit, I think we need to be into what we're looking at before we start going after it.
Yeah, I don't think it was healthcare.
Yeah.
But I remember there was something, and I don't know, if I can't remember it now, it wasn't that important. But we've got next Tuesday all day, so.
We do, maybe we'll remember it.
Yeah.
Have an epiphany.
As we
Yeah.
get older.
Yeah.
All right, now public input.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
At the top of the list, candidates night. It was nice to see Mr. Cordelli there in the audience for a change.
He
Now,
never comes in here.
That said, I'd like to see him here once a month and/or give a report of what he's doing as opposed to reading it in the newspaper. It's just an update. You haven't seen him for quite a while. That was my comment. 2, the lines on the road, they haven't been done this year yet. We haven't had any report back from anyone. Because if they were, they're fading awful fast, especially on Ledge Hill Road.
They're done after tarring.
I'm sorry?
Done after we tar the road.
Oh, they're gonna be done? Okay.
And the tarring this year is gonna be done in June rather than later in the year.
Okay, that's just one of the roads. What about they're gonna come back and do them all at once? Is that what they're going
That's
to do?
correct.
Okay.
That was my understanding,
So they were done in 2019.
yes.
Okay.
Right.
They're gonna use stronger paint, you know. Anyways, trees. We had a conversation here with, way back when, with Jim Bean and so on and so forth, but someone had mentioned it. There was a logger over in Center Harbor that was cutting trees down at a reasonable rate. I'm only bringing this up here already. We're on my parade, about you talking about, you know, the road down the street. We never followed up, we never checked in, we never got a repair. Oh, we did?
Yeah, Jim looked into it further. It wasn't the reduced cost that, so it
Okay.
wasn't the quote that.
I'm getting the end of the
was
story.
not-
I can respond to that, sir.
Okay,
May I?
sure, please.
In June of last year, I started I did a white paper on trees based upon other towns. And the day before New Year's, we got an email from Jim Bean while on vacation. Yep, costs a lot of money. It's a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna bring it up again. Because last year, how much did we spend on tree removal, do you know?
No.
Over $21,000. And yet, the tree budget didn't have a penny spent. So it's a part of a bigger issue as far as I'm concerned. It's called administration. It's called time management. Thank you.
Okay. Next, police station. Now, I did the best I could in that tiny little room up on the hill with my camera last week, showing pictures of the police department, so on and so forth.
Right.
Can these engineers send you a PDF file of the front and the back or inside of, and we can put it on the website? This will be a preview for next week, so if people look on the website, they can say, oh, that's what it looks like, instead of just, unless we're making printouts and handouts and putting them in the books.
They discussed that on Friday. That's, sorry, didn't mean to, he was looking.
I can respond to that. That
Okay.
is one of 5 things I'm bringing up at my Thursday meeting with them.
Okay,
Okay, and I did ask that they
Yes.
include that in the handouts for town meeting.
Yes.
the health policy. Whether you get elected or Guy gets elected, or whatever the case may be, okay, as far as this falling on. I talked with Guy after the candidates night, and I said, well, when do you think you guys are gonna get back on this budget committee, whatever? He said, well, we probably won't start this till August. Would you agree with that? You know, we push everything to the final end, and now it's like we're rushing, okay? This needs a lot more discussion, and it should start earlier, okay? This is what I heard, and this is what I wanted to talk about, that's all. Okay. Last but not least, yeah, you can talk.
Well, I
later.
don't know if you want a response or not. Do you want a response to that?
No.
We have to start before August to
Yeah.
determine what we're gonna do. We can't start before August in getting pricing because the insurance companies won't give us pricing before that. So we need to figure out what direction we're going, and then we have to wait and try to price out our different directions.
I seem to be full of opinions today, okay? And my last is about the swap shop being inside where people are working. Are you busy? Get out of my way. A point made, okay? You can't run the business inside with people working and vehicles going back and forth. It's only concern for the safety, okay? And-
I think we came up with a reasonable solution. I think the committee that was formed has done a great job. I don't know why we need to change it, and I'll say it again. That whole thing, and all Cordelli wanted to talk about was the swap shop, and he's our state rep, for God's sake. It's just a dog whistle. It has nothing to do with anything other than we don't think those employees are working hard enough. And they can make political hay all they want, but the reality of the situation is that committee needed to be formed, that operation needed to be publicly operated, and it can't move into the recycling center.
You hit a key word, safety, and I'm gonna be goddamn blunt. Anybody in this town ever investigated an accident where someone's grandson was crushed up behind a tractor that was moving around? I've done it twice in my career, and I need my dark glasses right now so you don't see me cry, and it happened 30 years ago. Over my dead body, will the swap shop be moved into an industrial site where tractors are taking things out of compactors? By the way, we're very fortunate. Clay and his staff are very public safety. Speaking of accidents, has anyone seen anyone injured when one of those gripples explode at 100 miles an hour? We're very fortunate in what Clay Gallagher and his staff do up there. Like that, it's going to continue. Thank you.
All I want to do is make mention of that. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate your efforts. Do we have any other business before us?
I think we
It's
get those short non-public on evaluations.
Okay, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion that we go into non-public, RSA 91A,
Whatever.
E
I'll
/
second.
for employee evaluations.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Would, yes.
Marcus, yes?
I'll be yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.